All right, here we are, as promised. This is the 20 pip challenge that I talked about in the last video. I made a spreadsheet for it so we can kind of keep up with where we're at. All right, I am pumped. Let's see. As you can see, we got 20 bucks as per the challenge. And I'm going to do it a little bit differently than the proposed 20 pips because I don't really trade that way. I don't set my target based on a rudimentary amount of pips. I just set my target where I want it to be. So I'm not going to be following the 20 pips because I think whoever made this had it in mind that you would do one trade a day and aim for 20 pips, right? Me, since I am on a simulated account, I don't want to be babysitting it for a month. So I'm not going to be doing that. I'm not going to be doing one trade a day. I'm going to be speed running through it. So for that reason, we are not using the pips. I don't know if the lot size is accurate either. It depends on the asset, but we'll see. We'll just be following the risk column and the profit goals. So I will just size my positions accordingly so that these check out. All right, with all of that out of the way, we're out of trading view into a God-intended proper terminal. So let's get some lines going and get this challenge started. Let's make sure that I am in fact recording. I think I am. All right. Also, because the balance is so small, I had to get up to really, I had to get really high leverage basically. So we are at 300x, which is a lot, but I kind of needed it to do what I wanted to do because we only have such a small balance. Let it be clear, I'm not an advocate of high leverage at all. All right. Okay. So we have a breakdown. So we can remove this line right there and move it down a little bit. For now, I'm just going to see what it's going to do. I could go back a little and check it out, but I'm just going to be trading it as it comes my way. All right. This seems to be a low. So let's mark it out. It's kind of ranging between these two. So I'm going to look for a trade I can take within this range. All right, yeah, this is definitely point of interest for now. All right, this looks promising. Let's see if we set a projection right there, if we can trade it down to this low. So let's set a short right about there. Let's do a TP on that low and let's check it out. It has to be $6 and the risk is I decide. That's great. All right, that should be fine. Let's see how much. We do not have enough leverage. Sadly, 300x is not enough. In that case, let's check out the other pairs we got. Dollar yen, what are you doing? All right, this could be interesting. So for $6, we need a very big move. I don't know. All right, gold seems to be reversing. Let's see what this would be. How much can we afford? All right, we are having some technical difficulties getting our first trade in. This kind of sucks. Who would have thought if you are using 1 to 300 leverage that you would not have enough? I might need to set it to 500. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Otherwise, the challenge is over before it began. All right, 500x leverage. Here we come. All right, we should be able to afford more now. Yes. All right. So 300 was already crazy high. I am now leveraged up to my nipples at 500x. This is way higher than I would ever suggest anyone do, but we have to. All right, so this was kind of the entry that I was wanting to take. Let's see if we can still get it. Oh, it's still too little. That was the most I can afford, 8 micros. And then that could work. Although this kind of did mess up my plan because I wanted to take this trade and it played out, except we didn't have enough margin, sadly. So let's think about what we're going to do now. That looks interesting. Reversal, probably. So yeah, this is basically one area. You can combine this. This is all the same thing. So this is my new point of interest. All right, if it breaks right through, we are going to take this. All right, that's good. So we can get this out of there. Let's set a limit order right there with a TP. Let's see if that's enough. It is not. Ooh. All right, minus fees and commissions, obviously. But I am willing to take it. Risk is still my choice. So let's make it a 1 to 5. That looks Pretty nice. Let's send it. All right, so initially I wanted to be targeting top of this area, but we need to stretch it. All right, there it is. This is the first trade. So yeah, I could have taken a 50% entry instead, but this is fine. So yeah, even though I am trading on crazy high leverage here, please do not take this as a you should trade high leverage, because that is absolutely not true. I suggest keeping it low, ideally no leverage at all, because I think going to the bank and taking out your money, going in your garden and setting it on fire will take longer than high leverage trading. But this seems to be going quite well. And of course, when I say that, it goes right back up. All right, so if I would have had more leverage, I would probably use this as a second entry, but the challenge doesn't allow. I mean, the challenge does, but my margin doesn't. All right, that would have gotten filled. Unfortunately, I couldn't put an order right there. All right, so we got into the zone right there. So let's hope we can push it a little bit lower and hit the target. We are definitely going to be shy of the $26 balance because of the fees and commissions that this didn't take into account. But, ooh, this was already kind of pushing it. So we'll just target slightly more in the next trades when it's possible. So yeah, this is probably going to be taken out. So that means that our target is going to be hit. Oh, come on. Twice. All right, come on, anytime now. There we go, finally. All right, let's see what we can do now. We have 25 bucks. So let's mark this as complete. All right. The next one is risking 6 to make 8. I am thinking we can take this as a reversal trade. That is what I am going to do. Yeah, that looks fine. Let's go from right there to the top of this. See if we have enough. All right, that is actually way better. Let's do 9 micros and then add 1 to make up for fees and commissions. But let's first set the stop loss. All right, that's what it says. Risking 6 to make 8 and then adding 1 to make up for fees and commissions. So I'm going to slightly decrease that. All right, yeah, looks good. Send it. This is not a zero confirmation order, by the way. It is coming from this area right there. Now we just got filled. Plenty of room for the stop. I'm not even worried about it. All right, this is moving up nicely. All right, let's mark out this high. This is not a low, by the way. This is an area that you could trade off of, but we're not going to. But I'm keeping it on because I want to see if I'm right, which I probably am, but I like confirmation. So yeah, I was right. These are continuation breaks and these are reversal breaks. All right, that's a break. And we are nearing the target. We're probably not going to be touching the $34 target that we have, but we're going to get close. All right, we just got filled. And I don't even have to redraw the projection. Very nice. So for the next one, let's mark this off first. There we go. For the next one, we are risking 10. No, we are risking 8 to make 10. All right, let's see what we got. All right, so I marked out this high. Let's do it properly. There we go. And I mean, yeah, it's probably coming towards it. So let's wait for it to be up here and we will see what to do from there. Let's see if this is the high. If it comes below this, I'm going to be marking this as the high. All right, let's mark that out. So yeah, we got a pretty big range now, but patience. Patience is key. All right, that is a break. All right, I'm going to mark this out as a high. If we break through this high, I'm curious what kind of reaction we get. All right, we just broke through. Let's update the highs and lows. That is a very promising reaction. I'm going to draw this out as a confirmation. I don't think we need it, but I have a suspicion. Very, very interesting. All right. If I had enough margin, I would long this back up, but I don't think I do. I'm 30% short, roughly. Unfortunately. What if we do this though? Ooh, that's enough. We could do that. Let's set it to the top there. All right, how much do we need? 10. All right, so risking 8 to make 10, that is doable. That is very doable. 13 is fine. Let's set a stop. I'm going to slightly overshoot with the target so we can cover the fees and commissions. So let me draw this out if it isn't clear. There we go. Pretty large zone I would normally trade off I would not normally trade off, but since we have a huge stop, it doesn't really matter. So, I mean, yeah, let's send it. It looks good. I'm not fully confident, but not enough margin. Nice. I thought we did. Why not? Ah, okay. Okay, this could still work. Possibly. I really doubt it's gonna go down that low, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Stop. Let's set the stop to $8. That's good. Limit order placed. Let's draw out the projection. That's terrible. Oh well. If it just goes like slightly into this zone and then bounces up, I'm going to remove it because this could have been the entry and now it just takes off. Or not. Hold on. All right, it's going lower. Yeah, this will work out. This will work. Exactly. And we got filled. I am going to get some fluids. I have both orders set up, so I could just walk away right now. It's fine. All right, we're back. What did I miss? Probably not that much. Anyways, stay hydrated during those trading sessions. You should know 90% of your time trading will be spent by just waiting. All right, something finally happened. Again, this could have been a zone to get a second entry from, but we have exactly $4 of free margin, which is not enough to do anything with. We're almost there, finally. All right, that took a long time. However, this is exactly what I wanted to happen, because look at this. Look at this particular formation. What is this? This is a reversal. Exactly. Great job. Oh yeah, we can mark this one off the list. We can mark this one as complete. So the next one is risking 10 to make 13. All right, let's mark out some zones while we're at it. Nope, not that one. That one. There we go. All right, cool. So I'm looking to take this as a short entry, but I want some kind of confirmation first before I do. All right, this went straight through. Oh, there's some reaction. All right, let's put it back. That's a line. Let's put it back. Some kind of reaction. Slight reaction. All right, when you are playing games to distract yourself and make time pass faster, make sure you're still paying attention to the chart. For example, this is my confirmation that I am looking for. So I am happy to set an order right now. Let's make sure it is a sell. Let's see how much we need. Risking 10 to make 13. 13. Since this is a reversal, I'm going to be targeting a little bit more aggressively downwards. That's around 13. Let's see if we can increase this a little bit. Let's crank it up to 17. Although this is a little bit more than we're aiming for, this should cover the fees and commissions. Let's not forget a stop. And this is going to be at 10 bucks. Looks good. Let's send it. Let's hope we have enough margin. I think we do. Yeah, let's draw a box really quick. There we go. That is the target. Okay, we got entered. Very nice. 70 cents of commission. That should cover it. Probably. The trade is moving down nicely. Not quite ready to be moved yet, but looks good. Looks good. Let's make sure we land. All right. Very nice. We hit the target. I'm going to try to not fly by my rendezvous here in a moment. There we go. All right, we're chilling. So this is probably a reaction. Let's see if it does something like that. There we go. We can target the top of this zone. Should be good. Next one is risking 13 to make 17. Let's see if we can do that. TP to top of that zone for 13 bucks. Can we increase that to 17? Ooh, barely. Barely. I mean, hey, target is a target. 13 bucks. There we go. Damn, these are huge stops. Huge stops. I mean, yeah, I think this should work. Reaction up, reaction down. And then it will continue to this box. Let's draw that out a little bit further. There we go. Yeah, I think this will work. Terrible ratio. Anyways, yeah, let's do it. Looks good. All right, let's draw a projection of our trade. Stop loss way up there. Take profit a little bit down there. I mean, yeah, it looks good. Low right there. High is, let's see, this would have been that. Boom. Yeah, this is the high. All right, cool. let's get back to space. So I'm bringing them home. I should have put lights on this thing because I can't see anything. All right. Where am I? What the fuck? All right, mono is kind of running low. Not great. Point target. Oh, cool. We got entered $1 of commission. All right. Let's see if we got enough to do this. Ooh, it's going to be tight. Perfect. Okay, can just keep burning at this point. Yeah, we're chilling. All right, we broke this low. There we go. Let's move that down as well. Okay, we are looking good. Oh, that's bullshit. All right, I'm closing it there. Not exactly what we wanted. We are $4 shy of the target. So do I mark it off or not? I mean, it's a successful trade, so sure. All right, let's see if we can... How much is $4? Okay, that could work. I'm gonna trade it there. Yeah, sure. Let's market enter right there. And we're gonna trade it to that zone. There we go. All right, now we are on schedule for the next one. Risking 17 to make 22. Let's see where we're gonna pull that from. Next zone is right there. This already got filled. I guess we can use this one. There we go. I'm also gonna redraw this one because it is taking up too much space. I think I put it there. I'm not totally sure. Yeah, probably. This would have been... Yeah, no, I don't think it was a 1 to 5. I don't remember, honestly. Let's just leave this one there. This still hasn't been taken out. I'm gonna target the top of this zone again. And I can stretch the target down if we don't fill... Let's see if the profit goal won't get hit. I can stretch it down slightly, but this is already lower than that as well, so... Limit order right there. Take profit to the top of that zone. $16. Yeah, that's gonna be tight. All right, we need 22. Again, it's not quite going to work out. So we need to stretch it a little bit lower. Let's set it to 31 and then get enough and then increase it by 1 to maybe... All right, that's not enough for commissions and fees, but we have a little bit of a buffer from the last trade we did right there. All right, so yeah. I stretched this down a little bit, so we have the $22 from the profit target, as well as 72 cents for the fees and commissions, as well as the additional $1.39 we had from the last trade to recoup the fees. So it should be good. So sure. All right. Let's draw a projection. Oh yeah, like a magnet. Okay, this is coming in a little hot. Hold on. All right, we got filled. Let's hope it doesn't blast right through this top. It is a big candle. All right, it is slowing down a lot. Okay, it's fine. It's good. Of course it's good. All right, so this target would take out this low right there, which is a double low. I don't know. I don't have a name for it yet. Okay, damn. Yeah, it's between these two right now. All right, we just took out that low. Let's see if we also hit the target. Oh, come on. It's the same thing as before. Okay, no, luckily not. Let's redo this line. There we go. Let's move it down from there. Let's figure out what to do now. All right, I have a fun exercise. Just like before, when I asked what that was. What do you think this is? This suspiciously reversal shaped formation. Exactly. Not a reversal. Great job. So we have this zone right there. This low will take that out. All right, so yeah, if this comes up, it comes down, it will take this out. This will take that out. This will take this out. And this is basically a big void. So I'm going to be targeting the bottom of this. All right. Looks good. Let's set. All right, let's actually make this a little bit nicer. Let's also redo this box. Not make a new one. There we go. There we go, because this filled it. Limit order right there, 86, 68, and we will target the top of that zone. Right, so we need to increase this a little bit. Let's make it, I know it was 130 for the last time. The last round of commissions. Let's see if we can do 35, 30, 29. No, I need one more. 38, sure, 38 is fine. Cool. I mean, yeah, sure. Why not? Right, this will work. Exactly. Targeting top of that zone. All right. This may be the final trade of today. I'm not sure. Maybe I will continue in the evening. All right, we got filled. $1.50. in commissions and fees. I'm back. What did I miss? Let's see. All right. So in the time I've been gone, the target got hit, which is awesome. Let's mark this off. Let's see how much we have actually. 126. Great. That's $1 over. All right. Next one. We are risking 29 to make 38. I'm actually going to draw out these lines first. That's the wrong one. There we go. All right. This got taken out there. So we don't need to draw that. All right. Question is, can we, let's see if we do this. If it bounces, maybe we can bounce it off this back to the top of that zone right there. Let's see how much that is. We are looking for 38. All right, it's gonna be tight again. Yeah, no, not gonna happen. All right, yeah, that's kind of a bummer. I can't trade it down from there because I don't have enough margin. 38. Yeah, we're $3 short, plus the fees and commissions on top of that. I think I'll call quits for today. We had a week's worth of trades in one day. That's pretty good. 0 losses yet. Also pretty good, but I don't want to wait the entire evening for something that may or may not happen. Yeah, I'm gonna clean this up. I mean, I'll check the other pairs for a bit, see if we can find something there, but let me just clean this up. I have a clean slate tomorrow. This completely depends on what happens here, so this is also waiting. Let's check out gold. Yeah, this move is also just recently moved. It's right there now, so I don't think it's gonna do anything for a while. Do not worry, the video is not over. I'm going to make the whole challenge one video. All right, we're back. I am starting early today because yesterday I only traded for like 4 hours. So let's see what's going on. This looks like a reversal. Yeah, I think I went along this. All right, this would have actually been a good entry, but let's enter from there. Set up a long with a limit order. Oh, we already came in. That's too bad. If we can get 38 from this move, we're good. We can even make it shorter. Let's set it right there. All right, 26. See if we can crank that up to 35. All right, 39 is fine as well. The only problem is it already entered right there. So maybe we just need to market enter right now. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do a max margin. I don't suggest doing this, but this is very much a do as I say, not as I do kind of thing. All right, if only I have started 5 minutes ago, because then this would have been entered right there. Instead, we were going to enter from there. This is still fine. I mean, the risk reward is kind of bad, but whatever. It's also not quite the $38 we're going for. I didn't expect to be maxed on margin all the time. That is a surprise. I'm going to draw out some zones because I realized that I didn't. All right, that is interesting. Let's keep this in mind. And we are nearing the target. There we go. I think I'm going to trade off this as well. Normally I wouldn't because it is such a shallow zone, but this had a really strong react, so it should be fine. $154. That's about $10 shy. All right, that's not really great, but it was a successful trade, so I'm marking it off, and I'll just target more for the next one. So let's see, where are we targeting? This will probably take that high out, so let's aim for that. Let's get a limit order right on the top of that zone. I'm actually going to put it at the start of this one. This already had kind of a reaction, so I think it will not come as low. Anyways, let's max margin. Take profit. We are targeting this high, which kind of sucks because this is 48. I mean, if it's already there, it's gonna take this out probably as well. Let's do this. I'm going to move it up to the top right there, 68. That should cover what we lacked from the last trade there, and this one. We are aiming for $38 stop. That's good. All right, sure. Let's set a projection. There we go. I'm going to redo this projection as well. This is the moment of truth. Let's see what happens. All right, we got filled. If it doesn't bounce from there and it goes up and it goes through there, I mean, it's going to hit in TP, but it is possible that it's going to bounce there. It is slowing down a lot, but I don't see a reversal yet, so we'll see. Yeah, I think this is a continuation break. It's fine. It's probably going to bounce off that and then take this out, which will take that out. Beautiful initial reaction. Beautiful. This will work out. All right, sadly, I can't trade off of this because we already have a trade open. That is awesome. Let's see what we're going to do now. Let's first actually mark off the trade we just did. So for the next one, we are risking 49 to make 64. We could potentially enter off the bottom of this because I think it's going to go higher. These are the same. This is basically all the same thing. So let's see. Ah, shit. It's already down there. All right, I'll set it up anyways. And if we miss it, we miss it. Otherwise, if we get entered, we get entered. 28, that's kind of tight. All right, we are aiming for 64. So let's see how much we can do. All right, 93 micros, and we should be targeting. All right, we could target this high right there for $70. Let's see. This gets taken out. I mean, yeah, that's a void basically. Yeah, should work. 68, that's kind of tight. Oh well, we'll see. Let's set a stop. This is supposed to be 49. There we go. Limit order. And we got entered. Nice. All right, that will probably mean, so this $8 is gone to commission. So we have 60, which is, yeah, it's going to put us right on track. All right, let's draw out this projection as well. I think we got entered right about there. All right. What do you guys think of my jet? Oops, sorry, jab. Whee. This thing goes so fast, it will rip itself apart. All right, the trade is looking good. Let's see, there it is. All right, oh, butter. Yeah, let's go around. We're gonna do another pass. All right, we're coming in. This is looking much better than before. Exactly. Jeb reports slight damage to the landing gear. It's fine, don't worry about it. This is the other one I made. I don't know which one I like more. This one is very maneuverable. Oh, the trade just broke to the upside. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. Ooh. All right, abort. Mission abort. We're good. We're fine. Don't worry about it. I don't remember if this flew right. I don't think it did, but we will find out. I made this a while ago. The trade is still... It looks good. I'm going to leave it as it is. All right, Jeb, you may not survive. I don't think this one flew well or landed well, either one. Oh shit. All right, it flies better than I remembered. I think it was a different one that didn't. Be advised, Jeb is coming in hot. Oh shit. Jeb's fine, don't worry about it. Jeb survived. I think. Yep, he did. Oh cool. Target got hit. I'm going to wait for a little bit and see what it does. Oh yeah, we can mark the trade off the list. There we go. 10 of the 30 are done. Maybe we can get in on the reversal because it's pretty overextended in my opinion. All right, we just broke that high. I feel like it's going to be reversing soon. All right, I'm going to be longing from there. Let's see where there hasn't been a reaction yet. Probably somewhere there. Yeah, that's great. That's great. This is still empty. All right, cool. Yeah, we are targeting the top of that. We are aiming for this to be taken out because, let's see, it's right there, the current price. So, yeah, this will take this out. This will take this out. And then if it takes this out, it will take that out. This will take that out. This is kind of a stretch. This is the only part that I am worried about a little bit. But we'll see. We got a massive stop. It's fine. Let's see. Limit order on the bottom. And a take profit to there. Let's see, how much are we aiming for? We are risking 64 to make 83. So let's see how much we can do. And for once we can actually do it. Let's just go 100% margin. Sure, that's a good idea. All right, let's set a projection for our order. There we go. And now we wait. Oh, come on. All right, we got entered. Cute. All right, price is between this low and this high. All right, so even though this broke, I should move this up there, but I am going to be keeping this here because this is such a small zone. And because this broke, we can use this as a second entry. All right, unfortunately, that's not going to be happening because we are already in a trade. So we can't do more. Yeah, beautiful reaction. But sadly not something that we can use. All right, beautiful. All right, so we have a double low right there. We just came into this area that hasn't had a reaction since. So I am expecting a reaction down. So I'm thinking it's probably coming down. It's going to take this out, which will fill probably in there. All right. Can we trade off of that? That is the question. Limit order. Oh yeah, let's mark it off. We have, let's see, 357. That is $2 shy of the target balance. However, I am calling it good. So the next one is risking 83 for 108. So let's see if we can pull that off. Let's target the top for now. If this goes higher, we can just move this up. And that is definitely possible. Let's see, the commission round trip is probably going to be around $10, I imagine. Or we can move this up slightly as well. This should be good. So we are targeting 127. That is a difference of 19. Minus 10, give or take, for the fees, which leaves us with 9. Minus 2 for the 2 that we are already missing. Yeah, this should be good. This is fine. All right. I'm going to be doing it slightly less than 83. But yeah, this should be good. Let's get this out of there. And final check. Yeah, I think this will work. It's already coming down. It's probably going to take this out. If it has a reaction at this box, we can just cancel it. There we go. All right, let's set a projection as well. There we go. Targeting the high. Again, if it goes higher, we move the target up, but it seems to be going down for now. So the high is this, and this is the low. So we can take this out as well. All right, there definitely seems to be some reaction, but it's not from this zone because it probably already got filled by this reaction right there. So we can take this out. There we go. All right, so yeah, I just broke the low. So it is going down. Beautiful. $4 per side per lot. Yeah, this seems to be the low. So let's mark that out. Oh, we actually got entered slightly below where we set the limit. That's awesome. All right, we are slightly over the 100% use leverage, which is kind of bad. But the rest is looking awesome because this closed low. So this becomes the high. And this is basically, I mean, this is basically a reversal. I can be pretty confident right now this is a reversal because of this formation and the fact that it is inside of this zone that we marked out earlier. So this is basically as confident as I can get that this is going to play out. This particular trade has so many confirmations. All right, that's a break. Awesome. Beautiful. All right, what to do now? All right, so this is a break as well. I'm going to wait for this high to settle and then I will mark it out. All right, let's mark that out and let's mark it off the list. Where is the button I am looking for? There. All right. All right, let's mark out this high. We broke through the low. So we can use this straight off. But I'm going to wait for a confirmation first. And again, I will wait for the low to settle before drawing it out. All right, it depends on what it does right now. All right, so this was a reversal break. Now, this looks like a reversal itself to me as well. So we're gonna trade off of this downwards. Now, normally speaking, reversals end up lower than the low, but I'm going to be safe and target. Let's see what we can target. This is probably a good spot. So let's see if we can pull that off. Let's set this to short limit and we will be taking profit at the top of this zone. So let's see how much we need. We are risking $108 to make 140. All right, 140. Is that going to be enough? Probably not. No, unfortunately. Let's see if we stretch this up a little bit. All right, that's going to be tight. I'm not sure if it's going to take that out. All right, I'm not going to be entering there. I'm going to leave it where it is, and we are going to move this one down one. There we go. And this should be enough. This should be enough. I mean, we're $1 shy, but that's fine. I can just move this up one tick. That's probably fine. Yeah, that's good. All right. And let's set the stop to 108. Let's do 106. So we have less of a loss. Yeah, this is probably a reversal. Yeah, I should have probably used this one instead. After all, we'll see what happens. Okay, never mind. The next one is risking $140 to make 182. Let's see. I guess we can trade off this. That should be fine. Yeah, I'm gonna aim lower. I'm going to be targeting the low there. So let's set up the order. Limit order on the bottom of that zone. Take profit to the bottom of this zone. So that would take out this low right there. Let's see how big our position has to be. Okay, yeah, again, we're maxed. That is not great. Maybe we can target slightly lower. All right, so let's go through this. If we're targeting this, this is gonna take this out. This is probably the same as that. And then we're almost already at our target of 182, which is right there. So adding up, let's add 16 for fees and commissions. Let's actually do 20. Let's do 20 for fees and commissions. So we're aiming for 200 bucks. Okay, this could work. I'm going to slightly reduce it. There we go. So we are not at 100% margin used. I mean, 99 isn't that much better, but it's a thought that counts. Let's send it. Limit order placed. All right, let's draw the projection. Prices between this low and this high. I kid you not, this has been under the TP like 3 times and it still hasn't closed. All right, we got filled. So, not that one. This one becomes the new high. Let's remove that one. And let's also redraw this. All right, where is it going now? It's currently right at this low. I don't see anything for now, so I'm just gonna let price develop for a bit. But we can mark the trade as complete. There we go. We are almost halfway. If we get one more trade, we are halfway. All right, so it has been a while and I'm thinking we can trade it down. We can do something like this because there hasn't been a reaction yet from this zone. I think we have to hurry up though because it's almost there. Let's get a limit order and set it to the bottom of that zone. Let's get a take profit and we can target, could be a reversal as well. So let's, I mean, sure, we can target the bottom. Let's target it a little bit above to be safe, but this should be good. All right, so 282 is too much. We need 237. So we can actually decrease the lot size, which means less commissions. Very nice. All right, so we need this. And then I am going to add, let's see, I think it was $4 per lot per side. So about 16 bucks. And let's add a little bit more. There we go, 256. That should cover everything. Add $182 loss. This is gonna be the first time we were not totally maxed on margin. Nice, let's send it. There we go. Right, we got filled. This could have been a second entry. Let's mark out this zone as well. This is probably gonna get broken anyways. Let's just leave that off. All right, we are almost there. And we are about to get filled. I hope. Yes, there we are. All right, great. So my idea is this zone looks like it's gonna be blocking. So let's try the trade-off. So we are looking for 308 plus about, let's say 32 for the fee. So that will be 340. That is still above that zone. All right, cool. All right, 237. That's close enough. Let's send it. I'm going to be drawing out. I already did these rays, but let's do a box. So this area could be a problem, but we are targeting above it, so it doesn't really matter. It's coming in hot, but it seems to be holding. Awesome. And we got filled. 20 bucks of commission. And that is slightly more than I anticipated. There we go. $9 extra on the target. Oh, this is perfect. Perfect fill. All right. I could probably target one tick lower than I am currently, but this is fine as well. All right. That's a break. Awesome. It's looking good. It's looking great. Anyway, we got filled. That is great. So we are currently in this zone. Let's see if this is going to be blocking or not. We didn't need this either, so we can just remove that. And we can mark that as complete. There we go. All right, so what I'm thinking this is a reversal as well. Yeah, this will be blocking and then a continuation up. So let's do that. Let's see if we can get that. We'll be trading from this zone on a buy. Limit order, let's see how much we need. All right, so trade number 17, we are risking 308 bucks to make 400. Great. I'm not going to be targeting all the way to the top. I'm thinking the top of this range is better. So let's set a take profit. Let's do there. Yeah, this hasn't been taken out either yet. So this is already 500. All right, so we can size down. All right, so 400 for the trade. And let's see, it is 3 lots. So that is 12 and a little bit. So 24. Let's make it 27. Why not? And let's set a stop loss at 308. Close enough. Yeah, let's send it. It's a pretty simple trade on a larger formation. All right, so I'm kind of hoping we bounce down into our limit order. All right, we got filled. 14 bucks commission. Nice. This zone also got filled right there, so it's no longer blocking. So that is also not an issue anymore. This could be a reversal break, and we got filled. Awesome. So we can mark that as complete. There we go. The next one is risking 400 to make 520. All right, so it just took out these two highs. So I am expecting a bit of a reaction from that. So if it comes down, I think we can long it back up to the high when it settles. Let's see if it wants to come down. Let's set a limit order right there. Let's see how much we need. So let's set the TP at the high. Yeah, we are kind of short there. Let's see how much. I think we have enough. Yeah, we do. Great. All right, 7 times 4, 28 times 2 is 56. So we need 576 to cover the fees. All right, we literally cannot go higher, but this is fine. Stop at 400. It's so massive. It covers both of these entry points. I like that, actually. That is the one benefit, I guess, of having big stops. But yeah, this looks good. Let's send it. Order placed. All right, we got filled. The commission is slightly higher than I expected. $29. So that is 58 round trip. Yeah, I'm not too worried about this trade either. But even if this fails, this one's still valid with a stop way under it as well. All right, we got filled. We didn't even need this one. Let's also redraw this one. And this also broke. So that means that we can trade off of this zone right there. I want to target the top. Let's actually first mark the trade as complete. There we go. All right, the next one is risking 520 to make 676. So I'm going to be setting a limit order to the top of this zone, targeting the top right there. We need 676 for the challenge. Now let's see, it is 8 lots. So that is $32.64 in commission. So that will be roughly 730, just about. Let's increase it a little bit because we did add a couple lots. Let's make it 750. Sure, why not? Nice round number for 9. Let's go 9 even lots. And then we will set a stop loss at 520. There, that's good. All right, limit order placed. Cool. Let's also draw a projection. And let's do these lines. I wasn't there when it filled the take profit, but I mean, yeah, it hit it. So let's mark it as complete. There we go. We are now on trade number 20. Let's see. It went a lot higher. Oh wow, went to those highs. All right, I think I'll keep it at this for now. Yeah, I'm kind of done with euro dollar for now. Let's check on gold. All right, we can do a gold trade. Yeah, I know what now. I am done for today. I already have to cut this video up. I've been recording for what, let's see, 9 hours and 45 minutes. I've been trading since 8 a.m. So I'm calling it quits for today. I hoped I could have completed it today, but unfortunately, that is not what happened. So I will be back tomorrow to try and finish the challenge. If not, I will just continue the day after that. But yeah, that's it. I will be back tomorrow, which is through the power of editing. Only a couple seconds for you. All right, we're back. I'm going to try to keep the mic away from my face this time, so it's not an ASMR experience. Anyways, where were we? This is not... All right, let's see. We can trade something else than euro dollar. I mean, I don't see anything now, but we can keep this in mind. Let's see where we are actually. We are on trade number 20. We are risking 676 to make 879. Great. I'm going to get this done today. I don't care how long it takes, but it is getting done today or tomorrow if it takes that long. But it is getting done this session. I don't care how long the session is going to be. It's going to be done. All right, so let's see what's what euro dollar is doing. All right, I'm not going to count this as a break. I'm just going to be moving it down. All right, we have a break on dollar yen. From what I'm seeing, I'm expecting this to be a reversing break. All right, I'm not sure what I want to do. Gold has this zone that is 99% going to get hit, but I'm also very confident the euro dollar is going to go up. Let's see how a trade on gold would look. All right, so we need 879. That is very doable. Going to be targeting down more slightly until the start of this zone. And yeah, that's plenty. 79. I think the commissions on gold are more. So let's just make it a nice even 2 lot. And we will have a stop at 520 there. All right, cool. Sell gold. So we have a trade set on gold, but I want to check out the others as well. All right, there. Now you can see what I'm thinking a little bit more clearly. All right, no entry on gold yet. And we got filled. Commission of $40. So that is $20 per lot per side on gold. So the total commission on that trade is going to be $80. All right, this looks like a solid trade as well. Then just clean up these lines a little bit. I don't know if I should count that. I am going to. I'm going to be trading this down, I think. Because yeah, it moved up like I suspected. This looks like it's going to be a reversal break. All right, we are just short of the target because of the fees on gold. But that is fine. Let's see what we got right there. All right, we got a break. And yeah, let's use this as an entry. And we can just target, let's see, the bottom there. That's fine. All right, we need to crank up the lots. 20, that is too much. How much are we aiming for? We are risking 879 to make 1,143. All right, I'm going to do 13 lots to make up for fees and commissions. And we will set a stop at $879 loss. There we go. All right, that is not something I like to see. We just missed the entry by 1 tick. All right, I added an additional 2.5 lots to make up for the fees and commissions because I did some quick math and it wasn't enough. So this should be though. Our risk is more though. So let me change that really quick. There we go. If we weren't already in a trade, I would be trying to trade this down to there. Oh, maybe we can if this one completes before it reaches the zone on USDJPY. All right, I'm going to close it there because exactly we have enough in fees. So let me mark out where I sold. I don't know, it was somewhere there. So we can mark this as complete because I kind of overshot with the estimation. So I added 2.5, which was slightly too much. Anyways, now we're going to be risking 1,143 to make 1,486. It's already where I want it to be. Let's see if we can do this quick. All right, it's not enough anyway. We don't have the margin to make a position this size, the size that I need. Yeah, that's way too much. So that takes out this one, and this one. This could be an issue, but if it clears this, we're golden. This is the only danger zone. Let's see if we can trade it up to there instead. All right, yeah. I'm going to change it to use one zone above it because this is kind of freaking me out. So now we just need to add a couple lots. We need 486. This will probably cover the fees as well. All right, cool. Entry is slightly worse, but that is to be expected because it just added to it. Also gonna redo this stop. All right, 21 lots. So yeah, if we get a break on this, it is fine. This was the only thing that I was worried about, but now we're targeting above it, so it's fine. So we are currently at this zone, but it does not look like it is blocking. All right, we had a little reaction at this zone right there, which is from that area. So we came in, had a reaction, but this failed it, so that made it non-blocking, and we came right through. There is also a double high there, so that could be interesting. But yeah, no, I'm not worried. This is fine. This looks good. It looks fine. I don't see any reason why this wouldn't go to target now. All right, euro dollar has a break. Let's see if it is blocking or a continuation. And there we go. All right, so it turns out that the commission ate up more of our profit than I thought it would, because we were aiming for 6,438 and we currently have 1,388. So we are short 50 bucks, but that is totally fine. Yeah, let's leave USDJPY alone for now. I don't really see anything on euro dollar either. Right, I can shorten this up. I guess we can do a gold trade. So let's try to aim for this low right there. All right, so least we can do is four and a half lots roughly. I don't think that is enough though. I don't feel confident that it's gonna take out this low. So maybe we can target halfway and we're already in the zone. That sucks. All right, let's send it right there. If it dips now, that would kind of suck, and we can just cancel it and find another trade. All right, we got filled. One thing you have to keep in mind when trading gold, that this will always try to screw you. You got to be careful. Gold will take any chance to rinse you out of every dollar you have. I'm going to decrease how far I set the take profit because we are also way over target. So let me just change that up. There we go. This should still cover the fees. I slightly miscalculated with the fees. I thought it was 40, but it was 40 round trip per lot. So we have slightly more, but let's mark this as complete. So for the next one, we are risking 1,932 to make 2,512. Let's leave gold alone for now. All right, this didn't work out. Let's see what we can do. All right, I'm happy that I moved the target because otherwise it would have not gotten hit. Let's trade off of this zone. Let's target that. I doubt that's going to be enough though, actually. We'll see, we'll see. Limit order to the bottom of that zone. Take profit to the top of that one. Oh yeah, we're short. We're slightly short. Let's see. All right, so this is basically void. We can target this one instead. That's fine. Let's see what that is. Yeah, that's enough. All right, cool. 43 for the challenge. I kind of forgot how much fees are on USDJPY. So let's just add 2 lots. We are over balance anyway, so let's actually not do that. Let's do 40 round and let's set a stop at 1,932. That's close enough. Let's send it. And we got filled. All right, commission is $120 on 40 lots, roughly equals to $3 per side per lot. Let's draw out this projection. There we go. All right, I'm going to move up the target 2 ticks, potentially, because it's been down here a couple times and it hasn't filled. All right, there we go. If this doesn't fill, I will just close it manually. Let's do that. Yeah, let's just... All right, it closed for me. Nice. So what have we got now? Let's check this as complete. And the next one is risking 2,512 for 3,266. This is where the compounding really starts to kick in. All right, euro dollar's doing a bunch of nothing. Let's check out gold. Gold just had a break right there. This does look like a reversal, so we can potentially trade it up. So yeah, this looks like, that's a line. This looks like a deviation to me, so I'm gonna trade it up. So let's target the top of this range. Get a limit order at the bottom there. That's a little clearer. And we can set a take profit to this high. 25,000, that is a little bit too much. Make sure we set this to buy. All right, so that is about required for the challenge. So that is roughly 3,500. Let's set a stop at negative 2,512. Just about there, that is good. Now it did already come into this range, so I am hoping that it comes back. All right, I just set it slightly higher in hopes that it will get filled, and it didn't. All right, that kind of sucks. This is just dropping salt in the wound and throwing sand in my eye. Let's cancel that. All right, that is fine. We can just trade off of this instead. That should be good. So this didn't work out, sadly, but we can try again. This time I'm going to set it slightly above to start with. That should be good. We have enough margin, I think, to add to this. So we need 3,266. So let's add it to this slightly. All right, so that is exactly how much we need. I'm going to overshoot that slightly because we had to add quite a lot more than I thought. Let's also set a stop at minus 2,500. Good enough. And let's wait for this to be cleared before we send it. All right, so that broke. Let's send this. There we go. Sadly, this one didn't work out, but now we can do this one with a little more confirmation. All right, we got filled. Beautiful reaction. And we got filled. Let's mark that as complete. There we go. Almost done. I'm gonna get it done today. So for the next one, we are risking 3,266 to make 4,246. Euro dollar is currently going down. So let's see if we can get in on a short. Let's see if this is even enough. Let's set a limit order right there with a take profit at this low. So we need 4,246. That is enough for the challenge, but I doubt that is going to cover the fees. We are 200 bucks. We are 200 bucks over balance though, over the scheduled balance. So we could take this and just tank the fees. If we do a 50% entry, is that better? Yes, that is way better. All right, let's set it to the top of, let's set it to the top there. 60 loss, that's a heavy order. All right, let's set a stop loss at 3,266. I'm actually gonna deduct the fee from this. So if it hits, we're not gonna be set back that much. So that will come out to be roughly 2,700-ish. Ballpark 2,700. So we have plenty of size for the stop. So this is probably good. Let's send it. All right, we got entered. $276 of commission. That is less than I expected. Oh, I know why. The fees get better as your balance grows or your volume increases. So we are probably in a better fee bracket now. That's great. That's good. That's good. All right, we got filled. Let's mark that as complete. Let's see. All right, I need 4 more winning trades and then I am free. USDJPY has basically been going sideways the entire time. All right, we got a reversing break. So gold is in a range now as well. I'm just going to wait for a bit. I don't want to force any trades. So I have let it breathe for a while. And I think I want to short gold because this looks like a reversal. So if it breaks through this low, I'm going to be setting an order on this zone right there. And that is a break. So let's set it up. Let's get a sell limit. And we are targeting 5,520 and we are risking 4,246. I'm going to be targeting this low because I am expecting it to reverse lower than the current range low. Of course, this is way too much. And I think I'm going to be keeping it around 6,000 to make up for fees and commissions. Let's set it right there. Let's get a stop and set that to 4,246. That is close enough. Let's actually do the same thing we did before. So the commissions will kind of add to this and make sure that we are matching the current risk. All right, this looks good. Let's send it. Feels amazing. Euro dollar is probably going to be reversing soon as well. So let's keep that in mind. Why aren't we getting filled? That is odd. All right, there we go. Let's mark that as complete. 23,914. I think we are slightly over that. Yeah, we're almost $1,000 over. All right, that's fine. All right, that is a break. We have a break again, and this is a very shallow low. So I'm gonna check if it matches up with a previous zone. Seems to be this one. Yeah, basically dead on. This altogether makes me pretty confident that this is a pivot. But let's wait for some additional confirmation because this is a pretty steep formation. And it broke upwards. So I'm pretty confident this exact spot is the pivot. So let's trade off it. Let's set this as the entry and let's see. We are aiming to risk 5,520 to make 7,176. Let's set that to a buy and get a take profit. I want to try to get this as low as I can so I can potentially squeeze some more trades out of this potential move. All right, we can do 110 lots. That is not a small order. All right, so it seems I'm going to add a little bit to account for the fees, but it seems this is the lowest we can go. It's kind of a bummer. I was hoping to target somewhere right there, but I think this will work as well. Let's send it before, not enough margin. Market enter with whatever we have. This should work. Exactly. All right, let's very quickly set up a stop. This is what we ended up with. So if it isn't clear, I'm targeting right before this zone right there. So yeah, if we could have targeted there, we could have used this as a second entry, as a second trade. And we got filled. Let's mark it as complete. There we go. We are nearing the end. We are very close. All right, gold broke upwards, but I know this is too choppy to really make out anything. This could be one. This could also be one. But this is I don't know, this is a little high for my liking. I'm gonna let prices develop for a bit again, and then we will see what we can do. Gold is moving up like crazy, so I want to short it. Let's see what it does at this area. That is promising. And what seems to be a reversing break. This looks very promising. Yeah, this looks good. Let's trade off it. Let's set a limit order right at the bottom of that zone. And we need to decrease this a little bit because 150 lots on gold is way too much. Let's set a take profit at 9,000. Let's see what that is. 10, all right. I mean, yeah, sure. Why not? And I can decrease it to maybe 20. That's awesome. That's exactly. All right, this is looking like a beautiful trade. Let's set a stop at 7,000. Let's just keep it at 7,000 for the fees and commissions. There we go. And let's send that. We have enough margin. We are good. And we got filled. All right, and target got hit. Very, 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 very nice. I'm starting to feel some resemblance of excitement. So let's mark this off as complete. We should be at 40,419. Let's check that out if it checks out. All right, we are about a grand over. That is totally fine. Now for the final trade, we are risking 9,329 to make 12,128. Let's see where we are going to get that from. I'm not feeling totally confident on gold, so let's pass that up for now. Euro dollar is also moving up, but it is at a local top, so it might start coming down. So I'm looking at USDJPY, and this cannot be a reversal. So I am expecting a move, another move down to take out this low. So I am thinking if we get a break on this high, that will fill it into this zone, and then we can target the low. That could work. Because this isn't a reversal. Let's do that. Let's see if we have enough. Let's see if we can do that. Let's hurry because it's kind of coming in hot. All right, so let's go for... All right, these are insane numbers, but let's see how much we need. 12,000, it was $12,128. All right, let's set a take profit at the low and let's see how large we have to size it. All right, it's not enough. We are almost half short on the margin we need. If only I had 1,000x. That's a joke, by the way. Don't do that. All right, yeah, never mind. This isn't gonna work because we don't have enough margin. Let's go back to good old trusty gold. If I was paying attention, I could have longed this, but oh well. Unfortunately not. I'll keep it on there. There we go. This would have been a good trade. It is at the top of a local range, so this could come down, but there's also a double high there, so that might get taken out. We just broke right through this zone. It is no longer blocking. All right, so where is it going now? Let's say up. Let's wait for a retracement and then trade it up. It's going up quite fast. I don't think it's going to retrace all the way to the bottom. All right, let's get a buy. Let's get a limit buy going right on that zone. Let's see if we can aim for the high. All right, that is way too much, obviously, because we have 200. It's set to 200 lots on gold. We are aiming for 12. All right, that is still a little bit over our margin. Let's put it at the start of this zone. That will be plenty. All right, yeah, this is it. 13,000, that should make up for the fees and commissions. Let's get a stop going as well at minus 9,329. Keep it at 91. Let's keep it at 9,100 for the fees. 9,000 is fine. Let's send it. 28 lots on gold. Yeah, we are targeting this area right there. I'm not going to draw it all the way out, but there it is. That is the target. I'll draw out this zone as well so it's a little more clear. There we go. All right, we got entered. Commission of $300. That is 600 round trip. All right, that is more than I expected, but it should be enough. Oh yeah, it's plenty enough. Plenty enough. Oh, all right, I'm gonna try to stay composed. Let's mark that off the list. All right, the goal was 52,547. We are at 54,841. Let's mark this off. Not a single loss. I literally can't stop winning. Overtrading, I've never heard of it. There is no such thing. There is only more winning. All right, I did stay composed. Anyways, if you want to try this out for yourself on demo, I really suggest doing it on demo and not live, especially if you've never done it before, because it is extremely, extremely reckless, right? Let's not talk about the obvious 500 leverage I'm using, but the challenge in itself, like you're risking nearly a quarter of your account each trade. That is crazy. It is not sustainable. This is more of a challenge. It's more of a fun thing to do. If you want to do it yourself, you can copy this, you know, on a spreadsheet or a notepad. You can even write it down if you want. I'll move my mouse out of the way so you can see it better. Anyways, just pause the video and copy this. Anyways, that was it. That was the challenge. This took me a while, so the video is probably coming out tomorrow or the day after that, because I have, let's see how long I have been recording for today, 7 hours and 11 minutes. So that plus the 10 from yesterday and the 5 from Monday is like, that is what, 22, 23 hours of content I need to go through. Anyways, it is coming, don't worry. I'll try to get it done and upload it before the weekend. Anyways, it's been fun. It's been really fun. If you do try this yourself, let me know how it went. Is this a style of trading I would suggest people do? Honestly, no, not really. But hey, it is fun to do. I had fun. Euro dollar trade would have worked out as well. Doesn't matter anymore. We're done. I'm free. The challenge is done. I hope it was fun to watch. If it was, leave a like on the video so I know that you enjoyed it. And if you really loved it, then make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of my future videos. That was it for me for today. If you have any questions, the comments are open, so feel free to ask whatever questions you have. If I get a lot of the same questions, I'll probably just make a video about it. That was it. I hope you learned something. Trade responsibly, size responsibly, and don't over leverage. I will see you next time.